Hello, family. How do you do? Auntie Oni's Story Village is here for you. I'm Auntie Oni, the storyteller, and I will tell you stories and poetry too. From villages around the world, just for you. I can say hello in many languages. Can you? Repeat after me and learn something new. Jambo, Irie, Hola, Shalom, Aloha, Salam Alaikum, Konnichiwa. Did you hear hello in your language? If you didn't hear Auntie say hello in your language, email me at auntioni@aol.com and let me know so I can say hello in your language on another show. Auntie Oni's Story Village is for children of all ages. So listen up. How the Storyman Found a Story by Oni Lasana. Once upon a day in the city of Doo Wop, in the county of Old School, Baba Jamal Koram, the Storyman, he woke up early in the morning. He was on a mission to find a new story to tell at the National Association of Black Storytellers and at the National Storytelling Network Festival in a place called America. Baba Jamal Koram got up early. He took a shower, brushed his teeth, got dressed up in his finest dashiki, ate up his bowl of oatmeal, and ran out the door to catch the bus into town. The bus stopped in the center of the city. Baba Jamal hopped off and walked up the street to Mr. Grocery Man's store. Good morning, Mr. Grocery Man. You have any veggie and fruit stories up in here today? Mr. Grocery Man looked around, and in between the apples, oranges, mangoes, lettuce, tomatoes, broccoli, string beans, cabbage, and carrots, but he couldn't find a story in none of them. Sorry, Storyman, seems we're all out of fruits and veggie stories today. Storyman left very disappointed and walked up the street to the furniture store. Good morning, sir. Do you have any furniture stories for sale? The furniture man looked behind the sofa, chairs, tables, and around the bookcases. And he turned to Storyman and said, I could have sworn there were stores around this furniture store. Sorry, you will have to find stores someplace else. But could I interest you in a Bluetooth sound system instead? No, man. Who ever heard of Blue Teeth singing and telling stories? No, sir. I need to get going. I have to find a great story ASAP, as soon as possible. Storyman left the furniture store, walked up the street, and strolled into the shoe store. Good morning, Mr. Shoe Man. You have any sturdy, long-lasting shoe stories up in here? The shoe man looked around at all the shoes in his store. The Jordans, Timberlands, Nike, Skechers, Clarks, Kohl's, and don't forget the Stacy Adams for the OGs. Shoe man turned around the store man and said, Brother, I don't hear no stories coming out from none of these kicks. You want me to order you some stories about shoes, my man? We all out up in here. No way, I don't have time. I need some stories today. I'll check you later. Storyman walked a little further up the block and right into the candy store. Morning, Candyman. Do you have any candy stories in here? Candyman had just come in from the dentist, and he said to Storyman, Man, I had a lot of candy stories up in here, but just yesterday the children came and brought so much candy and all the stories with them, man, fast as I could stock them. Juju stories, Twizzlers, Airheads, Benny Balls, Snickers, all the stories about candy, and the candies are gone. Why don't you go on down to the library? They have a lot of stories inside the books at the library that's right next door. Storyman couldn't believe it. Now, why didn't I think of that in the beginning of this story? Said Storyman. I'm going straight over to the library. I'm sure to find new stories at the library. Thanks, man. Good idea. Storyman walked into the library, and the bookshelves were empty. Not a book anywhere. No stories? Shouts Storyman. Lady Librarian hears Storyman's loud mouth, and she says, You can holler all you want, 'cause we don't have any stories left. They're all gone. Just the other day, half of the children in town came and checked out all the storybooks. I'm sure they're enjoying learning a lot about people, places, and things in those books. Well, the Storyman was in shock. He shut his mouth for a whole minute. He couldn't hear with his ears or see with his eyes either. But suddenly, he heard his stomach growling. Storyman was hungry. Okay, Lady Librarian, that's too bad, but I have to find something to eat. My stomach is talking to me. I'll check you later. Storyman stepped out the library and followed the smell in his nose right up the street, where he saw a big sign over a door. Little Mama's Big Kitchen. The food was smelling good. Storyman stepped through the door and sat down at the counter. From the counter, he could see the kitchen, and there she was, Little Mama, her pretty face standing behind a big pot, stirring it up. Good afternoon, ma'am. I'm Jamal Koram, the Storyman, and it smells like lunchtime, and I'm starving like Marvin. What you have cooking in that pot? Is it ready to eat? Storyman forgot all about looking for stories. Little Mama looked over her big, round pot. I know who you are, and I was expecting you, Jamal Koram, the Storyman. And I'm cooking a plenty of real good, yummy, tasty, sad, happy, funny, love, historical, folklore, all kind of delicious stories. And I put them all in this big pot. I'm cooking up real nice, scrumptious story stew. It's ready to eat, Storyman, just for you. Well, do tell, said Storyman. Thank you, Little Mama. I'm listening to you now. Tell me more. Little Mama tightens her apron around her waist and says, this is the second pot I cooked up this week. The first pot I made, I served it up to all the storytellers around the world. And now they all out there telling stories about all the positive things in their cultures. How to get along in peace and making people very happy. Well, now you know you came to the right place, Storyman. So just relax while I take out some story stew for you. Little Mama dipped in the pot, filled up a big bowl of story stew, and put it on the counter for Storyman to eat up. How's it taste? Oh, this is delicious, Little Mama. So, Storyman, since you are the first to eat my story stew today, tell me a little story. I'm listening to every word you say. Storyman's belly was full, and he leaned on back. Oh, Little Mama, I've been looking for stories all day. I went to the grocery store, the furniture store, the shoe store, candy store, and the library. I never dreamed I'd find all these stories in your delicious story stew. Thank you, Little Mama. I'm going to tell all the delicious stories. I'm going to bring smiles to all the people. Yes, ma'am. That's just what I'm going to do. Well, all right, said Little Mama. Storyman, your search is over, and you're welcome here anytime, 'cause Little Mama's got stories like Granddaddy Junebug got rhymes. And now that you know how this story unfurled, go on out, Storyman, and tell all of your stories to the world. So Jamal Koram, the Storyman, did just so. Now you know this story. You can tell it too. Just let everyone know that Auntie Oni made up this story just for you. Thanks for listening, and subscribe to Auntie Oni's Story Village for a new story and poem every Saturday. Visit with me at www.auntie.oni.com. fun. Hey, family and friends. Would you like to see and meet me, Auntie Oni, in person at your school or summer camp? Auntie Oni's Story Village is available live in the tri-state area, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, or Delaware, and internationally on Zoom. I'd love to meet you and see your face in the place. I can't wait to tell you more stories, sing-alongs, and poetry. So email me at auntie.oni@aol.com to find out how we can get together in the Story Village live.